What's up, Tricology family? Welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. And today we're going to be talking about everything that at the Disney Investment Day has announced. Everything from 20th Century Fox, from the Disney, from Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and everything that was announced at the Disney Investment Day this past week. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, before we get to everything that was announced at the D investment, we got some further updates on the latest new 20th Century Fox movies that was scheduled to come out this year, but got moved to 2021. So the first one is that the Kingsman, which is a prequel to the Kingsman franchise, has moved from February 12th, 2021 to March 12th, 2021. And then Ryan Reynolds, the new action comedy movie Free Guy, has now found a date for 2021 on May 21st, which is pretty good, like a summer blockbuster there. And then finally, Death on a Nail has now set for September 7th, September 17th, 2021. So that's pretty good from there. So now we got those out of the way. Now let's talk about everything that was announced at the D Investor Day. So whatever that, let's get straight into this. As on December 10th, Disney Company has announced the Investor Day, where they preview much to do the avalanche of new content in Disney Plus in the next few years. Quickly pace frequency of new releases and the business schedule. And bring 100 new original content to the streaming platform each year. And in this Investor Day alone, Disney or Bob Chapek did a 63 series and 42 feature films announced for the time or the detail. With 80% coming from the Disney Direct platforms, ESPN Plus, Star, Hulu, and Disney Plus. However, what is fueling aggressive this past year? With Disney Plus, it said 86 million paid subscribers worldwide, which is pretty crazy to think about, considering that Disney Plus just over last year ago, and the original estimate it reached 60 to 90 subscribers by the way 2024, but it's standardly and now for approach to the streaming service, with new estimation of around 230 to 60 million subscribers globally before the fall of 2024. And one more thing release the Investor Day, which I want to mention for the beginning of this episode, is that Disney Plus will be seeing a price increase on March of 2021, with the United States at $6.99 to $7 in the United States. And over continental Europe, Disney Plus increased from $6.99 to $8.99 instead. And to be honest, Disney Plus are very competitive for price the likes of Netflix. So I guess this price increase will more and it pass along the span. But now let's talk about the new content that'll be coming, and there was a lot. So to begin with, we have 10 new Marvel series and 10 new Star Wars series on Disney Plus in the next decade. Along with that, with 15 new series and 15 new features from Disney Animated Studios, Walt Disney Studios Live Action, and Pixar Animation, and with exclusive Disney Plus originals. So we can be the Lucasfilm, and more importantly, the show that really put Disney on the map, and that's the Mandalorian. And the production of DC is likely today with scheduled its streaming for talk to and it usually in November. Season 1, season 2. However, it was showrunners Dave Filoni are going to be producing 2 more Star Wars shows exclusively for Disney Plus. With one to be titled Reigns of the New Republic, they'll be set to be the exact same timeline as The Mandalorian. It will even ease at the storyline that was shown as well. And the other show that was rumored to be made official, and we're going to be receiving a live action Ahsoka series. They will see Rosario Dawson reprise her role as that character, and will be written by Dave Filoni as well. And the next new Star series will be produced by Giuseppe, and it is called Lando. It will follow the story and adventures of the Galactic the Lando Calrissian. It yet to be officially stated whether or not Donald Glover is going to be reprising his role for the series. But I would say it's a pretty safe bet to assume it will probably be the case. And the next time we'll see updates regarding the next two live action Star Wars series that will be coming to Disney Plus very soon. And we know that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is being touted as a special event series, meaning that we likely also season and technically begin production in March of 2021. And it's really directed by and because of Obi-Wan Kenobi show's timeline, it's very roughly 10 years after the events of Rise of the Sith. And yep, you guessed it, Hayden Christian has been confirmed to be returning as the galaxy's favorite Sith Lord, Vader. And the other live action, and now officially titled Andor, and it'll be a tense spy thriller following Diego Luna as Cassian Andor, and it's being produced by Tony Gilroy, and it'll begin streaming in 2022. Well, that's not all. There's a few other announcements that were new to the series, like the Accolade would be a mystery thriller set in the final days of the High Republic. Visions will be our first ever Star Wars anime series. It has been produced by studios in Japan. The Bad Batch will be built off of the Clone Wars animated series. A short animated series called Joy of the Story for RG2 and on a unique mission. And despite most of the Star Wars selling time primarily being focused on Disney Plus for the next few years, we'll be seeing a new Star Wars movie called Rogue Squadron, released in time for Christmas 2023, and is being directed by Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins. And then the other Star Wars movie, what is late, but we don't have the date for it, it's being developed by, it will be directed by Taika Waititi, who will be shooting a unique storytelling vibe to the Star Wars universe, much like he did for Thor Ragnarok in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then the other Lucasfilm projects were not related to Star Wars, included a series for Disney Plus based on Ron Howard's Willow, that would see Warren Davis reprise his role, and it's the actor of Lucasfilm Children of the Bone, and it turns to Indiana Jones, is still scheduled for a theater to release and a target date of July 2022 and began production in the spring of 2021, with Harrison Ford returning one last time during the foot as the iconic crusading archaeologist. And now let's move on to Disney Animation Studios. As first of all, as expected, Disney next animated movie, Raya and the Last Dragon, is coming to Disney Plus, and however, it's going to be available in theaters and on Disney Plus simultaneously on March 5th. But it's going to be used in the same Premier Access payment model as Disney used for use Mulan back in September. And depending on what the new original movie receives on the Premier Access, it will help Disney better understand the co-release video on the on-demand audience response to this new approach. In which way they kind of ultimate, as it said in August, in my opinion, the live-action Mulan was the strongest movie to debut the Premier Access film with. There was some more strong results. So hopefully there's a new movie will show a more positive outcome. But then after that, we also see we do a beautiful combination of what we reported earlier this year, thanks to our friends at the Insider, and that Encanto will be released November 24, 2021, and it's centered around a Colombian family who called magicians living in a magical home, but still had to deal with all the ups and downs of the family. And it's also going to be a musical with songs written by in both English and Spanish. But then when it comes to Disney Plus exclusive original content, Walt Disney Animation Studios is choosing to expand the existing worlds on the silver screen. In the 2022, we're going to get Baymax series along with a short series called Zootopia Plus. And now the first series directed by Big Hero assist director Don Hall. And will continue after the events of the movie, exploring Baymax in the series of 7 years ago and finding new pages on the one way. Then Zootopia Plus is going to be featuring 3 in-universe parody shows called The Little Mouse World, So You Daycare Prance, and The Fast Life of Franz the Sloth. In 2023, we're getting 2 more series. By the time there's going to be a long musical comedy animated series, with first being Tiana and follow the Princess Tiana as she arrives in the land of Macedonia for the first time. And the second show will be based around Disney Moana that follows Lily's. And then in addition, Disney also partnering with Kagari to bring a long for original series called Ejiro, in which it was set in Nigeria and a sci-fi futuristic theme, and we began streaming in 2022. Then in terms of Pixar animation, we received our first look at the animated Pixar's Luca, which will live in theaters on June 18, 2021. And it's going to follow a young boy called Luca and his best friend Alberto. And they experience a unforgettable summer in the Italian Riviera. But little did they know, they are really sea monsters for the underwater world, and this revelation threatened their very friendship. And now we move on to Pixar movie scheduled for 22. With first being called Turning Red, which is about a 13-year-old girl called May, who would have to come to terms with the awakening of being a teenager, which is made more difficult than the fact that every time she gets too excited, she transforms into a giant red panda. Then in the summer of 2022, Pixar is going to release a science fiction movie unlike anything else they ever created. It's going to be called Lightyear. The premise is that they put a blockbuster movie, and the Buzz Lightyear toy is derived from as part of merchandise for that franchise movie. So it's not going to be a Toy Story movie, but it's still going to be exist in the Toy Story universe. And then CGI human, actually character, it's going to be voiced by Chris Evans instead of Tim Allen. What do you think about this approach? This is actually a fascinating way, not only exploring the overall Toy Story universe, but it offers the potential to officially create a Pixar theory. If Pixar wanted to go to get multiple films in the overall Pixar cinematic universe. In addition, Pixar will also be developing a new original content for Disney Plus as well. What's first being Pixar Popcorn, which will be a series of 8 series in January. And then this is the Disney Plus. It's Dark Days, which is streaming fall 2021, and originally directed by Bob Kinson, who created it and asked the question. And the series it was going to be following, it will take on the dangers of suburban by encountering puppies, fireworks, and a pesky backyard squirrel. And then in fall of the following year, 2022, Cars is going to return to the series that takes place on a ride across the country with a Lightning McQueen and a major road trip adventure. And the following year after that, fall of 2023, Pixar will be streaming their first long-form anime series that's called Win or Lose. And it's centered around a middle school softball team retelling the same week from every character's perspective. However, throughout the rest of the day, there was no mention made to the period announced spin-off series to Monsters Inc. called Monsters at Work. So it's unclear to the moment whether it's your progress to the plan, as originally supposed to be scheduled to be released in 2020. And then we come to Disney live action side of things. And this is where we get quite a few remakes, reboots, and even sequels that will be exclusive to Disney Plus. With the biggest being live action retelling of Pinocchio that will star Tom Hanks as Geppetto. And it will be directed by legendary director Robert Zemeckis. And it's set to use cutting-edge CGI to bring a little war-born boy to life. And then the next movie will be slated to be directed by David Lord. It'll be a live-action version of Peter Pan for Disney Plus, called Peter Pan and Wendy. And that's going to star Jude Law as Captain Hook. And interestingly, getting a live-action Chip and Dale resurrection movie with Andy Serber and John Mulaney are set to voice of a laudable chipmunks. And that's not all. There will be some sequels to the former Enchanted, and a sequel to the 2007 movie Enchanted with Amy Adams, and also getting a long-anticipated sequel to the cult classic with the arrival of Hocus Pocus 2 for Disney Plus. And then in addition to all that, we are getting a 3-Man and a Baby remake starring Zac Efron, cheaper by the Dusty remake starring Gabrielle Union, another 6-action movie, a movie called Freddy by Freddy for 2021, and an animated directed Rip Kid movie, an animated Nightmare the Music movie, and an Ice Age movie called The Adventures of Bud White. We also received a visual confirmation of some live-action Disney remakes that are in the works for theatrical releases, as Disney worked on a preview of 1990, The Lion King, that were directed by Barry Jenkins. Director Marshall is basically currently working on a live-action reimagination of Disney's The Little Mermaid and a live-action remake on the One Dalmatians titled Cruella, starring Emma Stone. And it's actually more with Cruella's origin story. And it's still scheduled at this time for a theatrical release in May of 2021. And in terms of Disney television studio offer coming to Disney Plus, it was made official that we're going to receive a prequel series to the live action Beauty and the Beast with Lucas Evans and Josh Gad in parts of their roles. I guess and it's going to be a Swiss family for a reboot series, along with Peter and the Dragon in the European series, and a series called The Mysterious Benedict Society with Tony. In addition, that Disney Television are going to be producing a Mighty Ducks series that's coming to Disney Plus in 2021, and a reboot series in turns Josh Peck, and a new series called Big Shot that stars John Stamos. And lastly, we come to Marvel Studios. And we've seen in the past year exclusively content for Marvel on Disney Plus. But in 2021, that's about to change. As WandaVision becomes streaming in January 15th, Falcon and Winter Soldier will start on March 19th. Then Marvel's Loki series will personally the easiest series that I'm most excited for to see from Marvel next year. Will begin streaming in May of 2021. And so all of that combined with the one series streaming in summer 2021 means that next year is definitely going to be a year to get Disney Plus if you're a Marvel fan. And we're intrigued about all these new Marvel shows. It's how they're going to be vital in the connection in the cinematic universe. As for example, WandaVision series, there are implications for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness coming out in the cinemas in March of 2025. That's not where it even stops. And Marvel had pretty set schedule for the following years. As a little D23, that Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk are all in production coming to Disney Plus. The Marvel are also working on a Secret Invasion series starring Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, Ironheart series, and an Armor War series. And to top it all, we're going to be getting a short series I call I Am Groot with Baby Groot. And Marvel will be producing their first ever holiday special, inspired with a now infamous Star Wars special. But this is going to be featuring Guardians of the Galaxy, and it will stream on Disney Plus for Christmas 2022. But before the theatrical release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in 2023. So overall, it was a bit of a test, but hopefully it's down before our long investigation of these announcements into a somewhat short YouTube video in about 20 minutes. But if you enjoyed that, please subscribe down below. But one thing is for sure, is that the schedule of content coming up pipeline for Disney Plus has really raised the bar for every streaming platforms like HBO Max and BBC's Peacock. As long as the subscription prices are not increasing too much, then it's going to be a big win for us, the audience. And I also think it's about time Netflix should start being a little more concerned about the competition as well. But that's all I have the news for today. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about all these announcements that was made. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when new episodes are uploaded. And other than that, this is Trico, and I'm signing off. Peace.